into Batman and Robin and all the excitement that we do during the show.
I try to.
You do a great job of it, brother. I do really love our Tuesday shows.
Me too.
Because it's just you and I, typically. That doesn't mean we won't bring in guests. And we kind of start off with something and then see what the feed tosses our way. And it takes usually 1 to 5 minutes for me to forget that we're talking to other people.
How's that coffee? Is it kicking in?
It's kicking in. It's kicking in.
You're looking sharp. Is that a new suit?
No, it's just one of my suits. I just put a tie on today.
Okay. All right, guys. We're going to rock and roll. We're calling all cars. If you have a topic you want to hear on the show, Bill McKenzie, let us know. And share it in the feed. Put it in the comment section, and we'll talk your topic on air. We can talk the future land use map.
Oh, yeah. Yay.
A lot of folks, that's a hot topic.
That's a hot topic.
Yeah.
Do me a favor, before I kick off, tag Bellamy Brown and Scott Morris, if you don't mind.
Bellamy Brown and Scott Morris? All right. Good morning, Quentin Beckham. He says, good morning, gents. Bellamy Brown, I'm tagging you.
Gents, huh?
Yeah.
He's a little bit under the weather, but I hope he's feeling better.
Bellamy Brown and Scott Morris. Please. I'm tagging you right now. Our friend Keith Smith asked me to tag you on the show. He will be talking Marines today.
I'm just gonna do a little intro and give him a little bit of thanks and celebrate the service, the Marines that we lost. The 13 Marines. Well, it's going to be difficult for me to get through this. I take this stuff pretty personal.
I know you do. I know you do. You're
so
a good
just
man.
take a couple minutes and give thanks. As long as I'm executive producer and got a microphone stuck in front of me, we're gonna do this. We're gonna celebrate these folks a little bit.
Judah, we can rock and roll. Carol Thorpe, hello. Madeline, hello. Welcome to the broadcast. Beth, hello. Gregory, hello. Welcome to the show. Deborah, welcome to the program. Andrew, welcome to the program. Eric, hello. Give the show a like and a share, guys. We've got a lot of people watching today. It's going to be a fantastic program. Charlottesville and Central Virginia and Albemarle County, watch Keith Smith, especially at the start of the program. I have a feeling you're going to see this man's character, his integrity, what he stands for, and how big his heart is. Judah Wickower, my friend, we are in your hands, and I think we're ready to rock and roll. Good Tuesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk, guys. This is the Tuesday edition of Real Talk, presented by Yes Realty Partners. Yes Realty Partners, trusted name in the real estate game, guys. Yes Realty Partners, all about honesty, integrity, doing things the right way. Keith, Jonas Smith, Quentin Beckham, they lead by example, and the team follows suit at Yes Realty Partners. Judah Wickower is our director. Keith Smith, the executive producer and star of the program. Judah, if you could, studio camera first, and then the two-shot with my friend, Keith Smith. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. I want to take a little bit of executive director or executive producer privilege. I don't want to get too deep into it. We surely will never do anything political on this show. But those who watch the show know I'm a Marine. And I just everybody do a favor. Let's celebrate these 13 souls. 11 of them are Marines. One was a sailor, and one was was a soldier, was in the Army. They were all in the ranks between Lance Corporal and Staff Sergeant. These were all young, and this is going to be very hard for me to keep it together. So these were all young men and women between the ages of 20 and the Staff Sergeant was 30 years old. You know, if you think about our country, just Google these faces. I know Judah's running them through there. There was two beautiful women, two women Marines. They were all different races, sexes, creeds, and you know, they just were out there doing it. And I come from a very extremely personal space, and I really didn't prepare what I wanted to say today. So this is really from the heart. You know, I've been there. I've done this, and I was that 19-year-old, 20-year-old Marine that, you know, I was during the Cold War. I was behind the Iron Curtain. I was in Beirut. I was in San Salvador when I had to push a young family. You know, just think about what these kids had to go through. A young family, a young children, a mother, a father, and say, no, you can't come in. You have to push them away. And it's, you know, unless you've been there and done that, it's hard to understand. These are beautiful people, particularly, you know, Sergeant Nicole. They're all beautiful, but if you go ahead and Google Sergeant Nicole L. Gee, G-E-E, there's a picture of this young Marine, this young woman holding an infant, and shortly thereafter she was murdered, because that's what she was. I'm sorry, she was murdered. Again, was there, was doing it, was doing her job, never bitched, never moaned. Okay, Marines bitch and moan. Okay, I take that back. You're supposed to bitch and moan if you're a Marine. But anyway, this is a hard subject for me to talk about. I've lost a bunch of friends myself during my service career to hostile fire, trying to do the right thing. And man, just love on these people. This is what makes our country great. Different sexes. They weren't, nobody cared if they were this side or that side, who they loved, who they didn't love. None of that matters. What matters is, like Jerry, my fellow Marines, got my back. What matters is taking care of people and taking care of the mission. And these people, you know, man, these Marines did an outstanding freaking job, and I love them. And you know, this is, I'm a little surprised I'm keeping it together. So,
What went through your mind when you initially heard?
oh, I was tearing up. I was just, yeah, I'm a big mush. I was crying like crazy. You know, it's a, you know, I just, and you know, and I won't tell it on air, but I've told you enough of the stories because your family, on that stuff, and it is hard just to think of a 20-year-old kid. This is what these are. These are kids, because I was a 20-year-old kid that takes on this responsibility.
Right.
That makes a split-second decision to grab an infant and pull it over the wall. There was no this was this color or this sex or this. They were just trying to do the right thing, and drag an infant over the wall. Sergeant Nicole was cuddling. If you look, there's videos of her feeding Afghan children water on the other side of the wall. They were just, nobody gave them orders, you must do this. These were just people being humans and being Marines. It's you know, it's what makes this country great. It really does. And I've been blessed to serve with a bunch of folks just like this. So please love on them. You know, I've lost Nicole's, dear friends of mine. It's just love on them, man. That's all I really needed to say. So
Our friend Quentin Beckham leaves this comment, and it's a quote from Anne Lamott. "You will lose someone you can't live without, and your heart will be badly broken. And the bad news is that you never completely get over the loss of your beloved. But this is also the good news. They live forever in your broken heart that doesn't seal back up, and you come through. It's like having a broken leg that never heals perfectly, that still hurts when the weather gets cold, but you learn to dance with the limp."
So there's a line, and I won't finish the line in the Marine Corps hymn because it kind of takes a jab at the Army, so I won't do this. But there's a line in the Marine Corps hymn that says, when you get to Heaven's Gate, you'll find out the streets are patrolled or are protected by United States Marines. I may be screwing the language up a little bit here, but you know, I will see my fellow brothers and sisters one day on the streets, and that's what they're doing. Well, maybe I'm in purgatory. I don't think.
No, you're in heaven.
Yeah, but we're gonna go see them. But it's tough. I mean, it's super personal to me. This hits home, and these men and women were doing what I was doing, and these particular ones was in what they call a MU. I was attached to the U.S. embassies, which was a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, you know the story of why I wear a mustache. You know why I wear hearing aids. I'm a disabled vet, so I get it. And just love on these people, please.
Carol Thorpe, thank you, Keith, for the remembrance of our heroes. Our president and generals should always have their backs, and they were failed miserably. Prayers go up for all the wounded recovering and the stranded left behind.
Yeah, so again, I'm not going to make this political. I won't. When you're a Marine, you just do your orders, and that's that. There'll be plenty of time for Monday morning quarterbacking on this, but that's not what I want to do today. I just want to celebrate these young men. They are what makes this country great. They are these 22, 23, 19-year-old kids, because that's what they are. Just think of that. Think of when you were 20 years old, and just think about you having to make a split-second decision to let somebody in, don't let somebody in. These are huge responsibilities on young men and women to go ahead and do that. And I just want to love on these people. That's all. Let's respect them. This has been a fight that's been around for centuries. It's been around in my life. They killed 241 Marines in 1983. I've lost a couple of buddies in the embassy, actually one buddy in the embassy in 83 in Beirut. I've lost a couple of buddies in San Salvador back in 85. So it's just, leave the politics out of it. Just remember these folks and honor them and honor their life. So I thank you for giving me this opportunity to get this off of my chest.
Bill has a comment. The loss of the 13 service people is part of the horrible price paid by all countries that have tried to reform Afghanistan.
Like I said, I'm just not going to go down that road, but they've been doing this for thousands of years there. Again, I'm not going to point. This is not a show about pointing fingers, anything like that. The bottom line was they were called, they went, and they did their job, and they paid the ultimate
Our
sacrifice.
buddy Neil Williamson, watching the show, shares a Twitter thread in the I Love Seville group, Neil Williamson and the Free Enterprise Forum. We have a lot of respect for Neil and what he does. My friend,
Batman and Robin time.
Poignant perspective from you,
Yeah.
from the heart.
Well,
And I know this is something, Scott Morris watching the program, I know this is something that is near and dear to you.
yeah, you know the stories because
I do.
I've shared them with you. So
I do.
But yeah, so it doesn't matter which side of the fence you are on. They were there. They were doing their job. They were told to be there, and that's what they were doing. So, I've personally been there and done that. So.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, Batman
It's
Robin.
the last day of August.
Oh, can you believe that?
We have 4 months left in 2021. Kids are in school, parents are at work, vacation is over, summertime is over, the real estate market
Just chugging along.
is chugging along.
It's
My friend, open-ended. Let's start with the market.
Yeah, so it's kind of what we've been beating up. I took a look at it earlier this morning just to see what the last 24 hours did in the market monitor. I don't have the exact numbers, but there's still more pendings than there are news. So there are more. I didn't do the ratio, but there are more homes going off the market, in other words, going under contract versus coming on the listing. That ratio is a little less than what it used to be, so we're going in the right direction. So that's a good thing. But yeah, it's. I was watching a video earlier this morning. There's an organization called Sightline out of I think it's Seattle, and they were talking about this and why it was done, and it was really interesting because Sightline's a little bit on the left-leaning side of things, and it's amazing to watch the YIMBYism out there that there's like more. We need more inventory. You need more. More is more, right? So they were really quoting that it was simply a supply and demand issue, and more housing. It really helps everybody across the board, in my opinion.
Christopher asked this question. Thank you for watching the program on our. Christopher Rulison.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Rulison says the
I thought
market.
it was Eagle.
What's that?
I thought it was Eagle. I'm sorry.
Okay. The market seems to be heating up, and when I'm looking online, I see more homes that are for sale than earlier this year.
Absolutely.
Is this an accurate description?
Absolutely. It's still not where it needs to be. So that was the point I was trying to make. The ratio of homes going pending versus coming on the market is decreasing. It's still over 1. It's 1.25 from the last 7 days. I didn't look at it from the last 24 hours. So he's 100% right. More homes are starting to come on. Look, the reality of it is it's also a normal cyclical thing, right? The fall homes tend to go on the market a little bit more. The last 24 months clearly has not been normal, right? So, but there is some normalcy getting back into the market. Children are going back to school. I don't know how long that's going to last, and this Delta variant is a very scary thing, and is that going to put us backwards? But as we stand at the moment, it is starting to creep back up. There is this little bit of this confidence of putting homes on the market. Again, it's also cyclical, right? We tend to see a fall spike. The summer dip, for lack of a better term, maybe was a little bit longer this time. It started definitely earlier on that end of it because everybody was just ready to get out.
Yeah, they went on vacation. They were excited to get out of quarantine and go back to living.
Yeah, so I think you're going to start seeing a change. But Yonah and I were having this debate on the way in. Believe it or not, we do this debate on the way in this morning because.
How's the conversation in the car ride and way to work go with you and Yonah? Yes, dear.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, honey?
You know better than that.
I know. I do know.
You've actually experienced
I
that.
have experienced it many times. I experienced it yesterday.
You experienced it yesterday, right?
About an hour and change.
About an hour and change, right? And the only reason we do that is because you're family.
Oh, I know. And I love it.
And we trust and love you very much. So.
Same.
So we're getting into husband and wife stuff here. So we
don't have to if you don't want to.
No, that's cool. This is Batman and Robin Tuesday. Everything is fair game. Almost everything's fair game. Look, who was I talking to? I was talking to a server. We were down in Cape Charles for a couple of days last week, doing a weekend in the middle of the week, and we were out for dinner and blah 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 blah. And the waitress was.
Their weekends, guys, is their busy time when they're grinding Saturday and Sunday.
And we pretty much do it 7 days a week.
So 7 days a week. Yeah. So they're almost on like a restaurant employee schedule. Where they grind on the weekends.
Never thought about it.
And then like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, their downtime. These guys don't have any downtime.
No, we work 7 days a week, but that's a lot of who we are, right?
Sure, you love what you do, so it's not work.
It's not work, no.
Yeah.
But what we've been trying to do every couple of months is go find a place for a couple of days and do remote work, and that's what we were doing, right? Hung out at the beach for a couple hours, remote, did a bunch of. So instead of working 12 or 14 hours a day, we worked like 6, right? To me, that's a vacation, but. Look, I was talking to thank you for getting me off subject and back on subject again.
Quentin Beckham is making me laugh. QB. God, he's so mischievous.
You think?
He's so mischievous.
So totally, he must be feeling better. He must be feeling
Quentin
better.
Beckham is so mischievous. He says he's starting a support group for those of us that have to sit and witness those discussions. Quentin Beckham.
He's done enough of them.
Experienced the discussions as well.
So to finish up that thought and that question on that end of it, so we were having this conversation with this young waitress or server, and anyway, blah 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 blah, and we love to talk to people, so we're talking, tell us about your life, yada yada yada. So she was married like 7 years. Says, yeah, we're celebrating our 35th year. She goes, what's the secret? We always get asked that question. and you know it because I've said it enough on the show. The secret is partner, be with, marry, whatever term you wish to use, with somebody who makes you a better person every day. So if we agree with each other all the time, we're not going to make each other better. So we were having a debate on a subject.
Okay. And just a heads up, your beautiful 7/8 is watching the program.
Thanks.
In fact, she did leave a comment here.
What time is it? Show's over. Thanks for the heads up, brother. But it doesn't matter if this ride in or whatever. We were, and as Quentin would say, and you have said, sometimes Yonah and I see the same thing a little differently, but we discuss it. And I like the word debate. I honestly, and I mean this, I can look at you and tell us, I honestly cannot remember the last time we ever had an argument. I can't remember the last one. We've had plenty of debates, right? And then either we come to terms or we end to go, we just don't agree, and that's okay, and we go out and have a pizza or we have a glass of wine or whatever. But we were debating a business item, let's say, on that end of it, and she was right, by the way.
I have a feeling she's usually right.
She's
just
usually
like
right.
You are, Mrs. Miller. You're usually right as well.
But that's, she will say, she will admit if she's wrong. She will admit that she's wrong, and it's not about being right and wrong at all.
Daniel Pettit's got a question. Mustache Dan Pettit. We will get to this. So first, let me get to Yonah's comment. Yonah says, "Semper Fi."
Thank you.
The halls of heaven are a lot safer with you being there.
Yeah.
Rest in peace and thank you for your sacrifices. We will always remember you and your service to protect our country. Mustache Dan Pettit says, "Amen."
Yeah.
Yes, in all caps.
Yeah.
And has a question for you that I think is a very good one. Do you have any figures or any ideas on percentage homes that have had price reductions of late?
No, I can't give the percentage of it, but I can talk about it in a high level. So good question, Dan.
Good stuff, Dan Pettit.
Good stuff. So when you look at this, when I open up my Paragon, my MLS, my multiple listing service, this is a ritual every morning. You take a look at it and see what's the market's going. There's a thing called the Market Monitor, and actually I got a picture of it from it's this morning. I think I can look on my phone. But one of the items is price changes, which I normally have never followed, but I'm following it now. So I do have it from yesterday, from the last 7 days. So this is the car footprint. It's just a picture or screenshot of it. There were 65 units had price changes in it. So I didn't open it up and take a look at it. And what I find is happening here on the price changes, a couple of months ago, they were huge price changes. Now they're minimal price changes, but a lot of them are going up, which is the new construction. Excuse me. So you'll see some new constructions prices actually go on the upside. So when it says price changes, I don't know if it's up and down unless I open up, pardon me, and look at the spreadsheet that's baked into that. But Dan's right. That's something I would say 6 months ago I would never even look at. But those numbers went high. They're reducing a little bit out of it. So if you take 65 and divide it by 7, who's a smart person in the room? It ain't me. So if it was 70, it'd be 7, right? 7 a day. So it's starting to change a little bit.
Starting to change. So follow-up question to that. The change will continue, deepen in Q4? I mean, that's a crystal ball prediction for you.
Yeah, I think you and I talk about a debate. This was a debate that Yonah and I are having. Look, 2022, I think is going to be another good year, right? Overall, big picture, good year.
I think it's going to be gangbusters for you guys. I think.
I don't think.
Does Yonah feel?
No.
Look, how do you feel, Yonah, for 2022?
Yeah. So, look, you got to define what good is and gangbusters and all this kind of great stuff.
Well, we can call 2020 an anomaly that we probably shouldn't use for comparison's sake. Can you say the same for 2021?
No.
Okay, so 2020, we'll take 2020 out.
I would say 2021, at least from our numbers,
Yeah.
is more looking like 2019.
Okay, 2021 is.
2021 is looking more like 2019.
Okay.
And it's simply it's just simply a lack of supply and demand. That there's just not enough changeover in volume. So when we say, look, we're talking about how our business is doing, right, on that end of it. But this is looking more like 2018. Excuse me. Yeah, 2019, maybe a little bit of like 18, but definitely 2019 from the numbers I'm looking at and the numbers that Yona and I are doing.
She says 2022 will be more like 2019, more seasonal.
Yeah, correct. Well, it's just that the overall numbers of transactions will go that way. Now, 2022 has an opportunity, now we're talking about spitballing here.
Yeah.
I
I like when you spitball.
Has an opportunity to be as, like 2020 was a rock star of a year from real estate. I mean, that's just really, like you said, it's a one-off.
It's the best year ever for you.
It was absolutely. It's a one-off on that end of it. But, and this may be unpopular, but if interest rates climb up a little bit, I think more people will be jumping into the market as far as inventory is concerned. I think that might stimulate inventory a little bit.
I think if rates increase, which we know the Fed is considering reeling back the taper.
I think they're gonna.
Powell has said that.
Yeah.
Powell has said that. Inflation's everyone's concern now. You think if the rates go up, more inventory comes on the market for sale?
Correct.
Why?
Well, so it's just more of a psychological thing. People will just put their houses on the market. There's really, I can't come up with some grand answer to that. It just is historically what happens. As interest rates go up, people start going into the market a little bit more. The buyers start getting a little bit more anxious, right? Because their buying power goes down a little bit, right? On that end of it. But look, all the experts, everybody looking at it, there was a couple of slides that I sent you that we're going to push out on the Facebook posts. Anything under 4 is awesome, right? It's just freaking awesome.
Yeah, cheap money.
It's cheap money, yeah. So, look, we're at 2.
You can even say anything under 5 is cheap money.
We won't say that, though.
I mean, the first place I bought, the condo at the Villas, was 6 1/8.
We go through this all the time.
6 1/8. Yours was 18.
Mine was 18. Yeah.
It's all about perspective.
Well, it is and it isn't, right? So, look, why it's important from a buyer's perspective, you and I may be a little bit different, right? And some other folks, we kind of look at things a little bit different. But the average buyer buys to their monthly payment.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So this is how much I want to spend. This is how much I can spend. This is the monthly payment that I want to be at for my principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and HOA if there's one in it. This is my total number I want to. And then we're going to match the buy to that on that end of it. So that's when we talk about, the 5 things, location being one, the price is the second one, is that's the conversation, right? So if I want to be at X dollars a month and it equates to, X hundreds of thousands of dollars on that end of it, then that's when we start looking at the location, right? Okay, so this is where that low price point is. And then we start filling out the other components, which is, does it have a master bedroom? Because Keith and Yona want a master bedroom on the first floor, right? Or not master bedroom, owner suite. That is a terminology I need to stop using. Owner suite instead of master bedroom.
Why is the master bedroom... Because it's rooted in...
Yeah, it's really, I'm mentally trying.
Your daughter's watching in Seattle.
Oh, I love you, Vaughn. Thank you.
Yeah. She gave you a heart emoji.
Yeah, thank you. She's both my children are unbelievable. Our children, I should say, are unbelievable. But I'm trying to get better with my language. Yvonne will appreciate that. Yes, honey, I'm going to use bigger words instead of these small words. And then,
Fire, rock.
Me, Marine. We should talk about why Marines are called crayon eaters, but we'll do that a little later. The reality of it is I'm trying to get better with my words. And my children help me with that. My wife helped me with that. So, it should be owner suite instead of master suite. So, but I've been doing, and I've been doing this language
For so long.
since 1987.
Yeah, it's ingrained in you.
But that doesn't mean I can't change, right? And I have to, and call me out on it, please, if I ever do it again. Or anybody who's listening or watching live, call me out on it. Say, no, it's not.
Donna Patton will.
Donna, well, yeah, that's because I can't. My language won't.
We love you on the program, Donna Patton. Bill McKenzie, a home at the corner of Yorktown Drive and Kenwood Lane, sold for well over asking price
Recently.
in the 800,000s recently.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
So great comment. So I think where the market has changed a little bit, and I was having this.
Oh, your daughter says, I really love the awareness of the language you're using, Dad.
Do I get a star?
She
A
did.
teacher give me a star? Do I get a gold star? She probably doesn't even know what that is. What a gold
She
star
knows what a
is.
gold star is.
I don't know. Do they do that anymore?
Yes.
Do they do? What do I
Yes.
know? I was back in the Stone Age when I went to elementary school. Look, again, breaking down. Actually, we're having this conversation with Yvonne out in Seattle. About housing, because we always talk housing, and this is what we do. But they're starting to stabilize a little bit, and stabilize means it's not appreciating at double digits; it's appreciating in lower single digits, which is where it should be. That's historically where it goes. These 3 to 4 to 5% year over year type of increase. That's a healthy market. But to go back to, I beat this 5 things up all the time. But this first one being location, I was having this debate with a fellow Marine buddy of mine. God, I went to boot camp together, known since 1980, I think. Anyway, we were just having this jarhead debate about something, and the reality on a couple of months ago, the location really didn't matter, right? It just flew off the shelf. Now location matters. Location's become an important thing. So this one particular property Bill mentioned on it, you could maybe go 2 or 3 blocks over, or 4 or 5 blocks over, or X amount of distance away, similar house, so forth and so on. It may be sitting. So you're starting to see that happening where you really need the expert of a trusted advisor to help you through this process, through this stuff, because and I'm still trying to work on these appraiser roundtables, but as I mentioned to you offline, it's a little difficult to get 2 schedules set up. It's very difficult, frankly, to get 2 schedules of 2 separate, because I don't want to have just one appraiser. I want to have 2, because appraisals are a lot like opinions. Everybody kind of has one, and they all kind of stink. You know what I'm saying? So one appraiser can have a different opinion than another, and I'd love to take a deep dive into the why.
Sure.
Because I get
That's a good idea.
I get asked that all the time from clients. Well, why is one appraisal off different than the other? And I honestly can't answer that question. It's an interpretation thing.
A lot of comments coming in.
Oh, cool.
Neil Williamson says this: why was it called a master bedroom? The origins of the term itself aren't as old as one may think. Merriam-Webster notes the first known use of master bedroom as a term was in 1925. House kits sold in Sears catalogs deemed the largest bedroom in the home the master to make the room feel more upscale. The phrase caught on and became overused with time, with the one-bedroom in apartment referred to as the master, or a 3-bedroom house with rooms of the same dimensions having one deemed the master. And he puts the source in there as well. Neil, you make us better. Thank you for that comment.
So Sears kit houses, he brings that up. Very interesting thing. So what is?
You should tell the folks 40 years old and younger what a Sears kit house is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I don't think the millennials and younger know this.
No,
and the only reason I know this is because you taught me.
Yeah. So I can't remember the exact years. It was in the late 1800s, something like this. So how I wanted to start this thought off with is what's old is new again, right?
Okay.
So what Sears, you used to be able to get a catalog. So these folks that don't remember before the internet and all this stuff, you would get a catalog, J.C. Penney catalog, Sears catalog. But between the years, and Neil will probably have the stats right off the top of his head. I can't remember when Sears kits happened, the late 1800s to the early 1900s. So, 1880, 1890, that up to 1910, 1920, in that range. What you would literally do is you would open up a catalog, or you would get on Amazon, because that was their version of Amazon back in those days, and pick a house, and it would come on a freight train. It was a kit. It was a kit house. It was, you had the walls and the ceiling and the toilets and yada yada yada, and it would come on a train, and you would take it, however this would happen, off the train, and you would erect it on a foundation. And they were, do yourself a favor, Google them. They're absolutely gorgeous designs. So the town of Cape Charles, where we just came from, according to the town manager, who I know, and all the people down there, so I'm going to take this as gospel from them. Maybe it's not, but I'll take it as gospel from them.
You know the town manager of Cape Charles?
I do.
Okay.
I did some work building and development down there.
Okay.
Back in the 90s.
Okay.
But anyway, we've been going down there since '87. And of course, you know me, I always want to make sure I get to know the right people, just like I know you, right? I know Jerry Miller, the right people, and Liza, of course, and Judah.
The dog.
And Judah. But it has, according to them, it has the largest single concentration of Sears kit houses in the United States.
I didn't know that.
And the reason being, and I almost believe it, the reason being is the town of Cape Charles, really interesting. It was built in the mid-1800s. It's a grid pattern, so it's designed right after Manhattan or Belmont. It's almost like a Belmont. Has alleyways behind it and so forth and so on. But it was the purpose. It was a railroad town, so the C&O or whatever railroad it would come down the Delmarva Peninsula, which is the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia Peninsula, to the tip of the peninsula, and it would get on ferries. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Did I say? I usually call them ferries, but it's ferries.
Yeah.
Yankee accent. And they would take it across the bay, right? And then they would pick it back up in Norfolk or wherever it was, and they would just keep on trucking down to Florida, wherever it was going. And that was how you got, via train, material, material from the north to the south on that until, the 50s, when automobile came around in its heyday. And then, of course, the Chesapeake Bridge and Tunnel was built, which is, if you've never been on, it's a pretty neat thing. If you're afraid of bridges and tunnels, don't go on that bridge.
Jamie Turner, thank you for your service, Mr. Keith Smith.
Thank you, Jamie.
Touching start to the show, gentlemen.
Yeah.
He says, I saw a Sears kit house marketed in Gordonsville
Oh, yeah?
a while back. I will try to find the listing. It was a beautiful, beautiful home. Oh, he has the listing. The listing is on the feed here. Judah, something on the fly if you can do. Jamie Turner, who makes Real Talk better, left a listing in the comment section of my Facebook page. Can you get that listing and put it on screen? He says, check out this home. It's $325, asking, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 307 Pendleton Street in Gordonsville.
Yep. So without seeing it, I'm sure it's seeing what you're looking at. It's generally like this Victorian era. Sometimes they're four square. They're these craftsman style. So going back to everything that is old is new again. So back
Amazon selling homes.
They are. Our friend Musk is actually ramping it up a little bit.
Elon Musk.
He's ramping it up a little.
What can that guy not do?
I'd hate to be stuck in between his head.
Oh my gosh!
I'd hate to live in between his ears. That would just.
You would love it and you would hate it.
No, I'd hate it. It's hard enough living between my two ears with all my ADD going around.
Your beautiful daughter in Seattle says, "Dad, your willingness to change and make others feel more included and comfortable is one of the many reasons I love you."
Yeah, well, thank you, honey. I appreciate that. Yeah, she's I don't know. Aren't you supposed to be working?
It's before school started, right? It's 8 a.m. over there.
Oh yeah, it's 8 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, she woke up early to see her dad.
God love her. I'll get texts from her like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
She's supposed to be working. Tell her you love her.
I did. I said I love her. I love her. I've got to be careful because I might slip and say something I'm not supposed to say.
Don't do that.
I have a habit of doing this.
I know. I try to keep you from putting the foot in the mouth on the show all the time.
I'll tell you what.
It's one of my most challenging jobs.
Oh, yeah. No wonder why my mouth is so big. I got my foot in it all the time.
Mustache Dan Pettit, a great guy who makes us better as well. Are you seeing sellers waiting? Are you seeing sellers wanting to list their homes for a shorter period of time with agencies? Are you seeing more expired listings because of this?
No, I actually have seen the opposite. It used to be.
She says it's still summer here, Dad. It's still summer, child.
Is it raining? I mean, it's not raining today. Who knew?
It's still summer.
It's still summer. Oh, it's summer vacation.
Yes, it's summer vacation.
Got it. Okay. I got it. But to answer Dan's question, I'm actually, from our perspective, from what we're doing, I can tell you our listing, as we mentioned yesterday in our 1.5 hour conversation. Yvonne.
I spoke to your parents for about 90 minutes yesterday. Just wanted to let you know.
So you're trying to like.
I just wanted to let her know.
You're just trying to say, please give me some hints on what to do with the Smiths, with Mom and Dad. So it's funny. The two kids are very different. Yvonne is much like me. Will just like come right at you. Yasmina, God love her, is like Yona, is a little bit more diplomatic and will come to you, but will come to you in a nice, gentle way. So Yvonne will, if you ask her a question, she'll tell you straight up on what to do. What I was trying to get out is we're actually our company, our Yes Team Realtors, Keith and Yona and YRP's listings are growing, which is great news. We're seeing listing times a little longer. In other words, when you sign a listing agreement, you can sign it for 1 month or 2 months. We're starting to see that grow a little bit, which means that I think the sellers are starting to come to the realization that 2 days, 20 minutes, 20 seconds is not normal, right?
No, that's not
normal, right? So but we're long. We were looking at the numbers yesterday. We're just a long way away from this pivot, in my opinion, from seller to buyer. And Dan and other realtors that are watching can probably chime in on this. My brain is when we start getting 45, 60 days on market, that's the thing I track. Then we're making that change. We're making that shift over. Some people say 60 or 90 days is when you actually make that switch. But the psyche of it starts. And I think you might be seeing a little bit of that. So we're like, depending on the market and the street and the house and so forth and so on, you're starting to see 15, 30 days on market. Some of them you're seeing 15 seconds, right? The other thing is an interesting question for the feed. I think you're starting to see multiple offers reduce substantially. Now reducing from like 20
to a few,
to a couple,
yeah,
or just one offer, which again is normal.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Dun-dun-dun. So anyway, I'd love to see that Sears house. That Sears house on that.
We have it. Judah's got the screenshot ready.
Can we put it up there?
Or
I can just look at your screen. I just look at your screen.
Yeah. So Judah, put it on screen. This is from Jamie Turner, Mr. Gordonsville, Mr. Woodbury Forest. He makes Real Talk better often.
She does.
This gentleman does. So here's the Keith. We're going to flip through it on my MacBook. Here it is.
So
it's got a pending offer right there. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths. a little over 1,800 square feet. It's in Gordonsville. We're flipping through it. Judah, if you can flip through
Look
the
how
photos.
gorgeous that house
I mean,
is.
it's a beautiful home.
And
You would never think this is from a Sears catalog.
and it is. It comes in. Now they've renovated obviously over the course of time, new kitchens, new windows, so forth and so on. But the basic structure is the same, and the basic structure is this what they call craftsman style, and so if you go to some of the newer developments around that have been coming out, Old Trail, Spring Hill.
Spring Creek.
Thank you. Spring Creek. You see these similar designs. So again, what's old is becoming new again. The developments, this what they call the TND, traditional neighborhood developments, which was back in the 1800s, kind of was the thing, is starting to come back. The designs are starting to come back, and it's really interesting. If you spend a little bit of time and go into that, and I'm going to give a shout out to Nicole Scrow.
Okay. Nicole Scrow is a home builder.
Home builder, developer,
Yeah.
an outstanding individual, doing everything that she
You know what?
can.
Should I tag her on the feed?
Yeah, sure, you can tag her on the feed. But a shout out to Nicole. She posted. It actually was Nicole and Matthew Gillian. Did I pronounce his last name?
Gillikin.
Yeah, on that. But I think it came from Nicole's Twitter feed. I looked at it the other day. If you actually go into the Sears Kit House and do a Google search, you'll find back in the 1800s, guess what their number one seller was?
What?
A duplex. A duplex. So back in the 1800s and the 1900s.
Let's make sure people can see your very
Oh,
sharp
sorry,
face
sorry,
right there.
sorry,
Your black-
sorry,
there's cameras
sorry.
here.
You got me all worked up.
There's cameras here.
It's the coffee. It's working. Sorry about that.
It's a good thing
I'm
when
trying
it's a good thing when he forgets there's cameras on the show.
But not when he blocked
Not when he
it.
covers his face. But go ahead. I'm
That's
sorry.
it. I lost it.
I mean, you're looking sharp. I want people to be able to see you here.
I lost it. But go ahead and do a Google search. One of their top selling units were duplexes. And we talk about this all the time, increase in density, increase in thing, to help offset this end of it. And I'm 99% sure Nicole was the one that posted this. It was in Charlottesville. I can't remember the street. It looked just like that house. It was I don't know if that particular house in Charlottesville was a Sears Kit house, but it was a craftsman style house. And the only way you knew that it was a duplex, there was 2 doors and a number. Again, you go back to Cape Charles, right, and you go through this town that was developed and built in the 1800s, that was, by the way, on a peninsula, which is limited in its growth. It only could grow what it did. You'll go down the street and you'll see duplex after duplex after duplex, and unless you look hard at it, you would not know it's a duplex. You wouldn't know it. The only way you would know it is you have the front porch and that, and you would see a 1602 and a 1601.
2 addresses.
Two different. But unless you were looking at it hard, or you were riding a bike down the street or whatever, you from a scale and mass perspective, you really wouldn't know it. But they doubled their capacity, and I suspect if you go ahead and go through time on that, they were. Because at one time, this town of Cape Charles was, had teeming with people, because it was the work spot. It was where everybody had to go to work to be part of the railroad system. I suspect, and this is me crystal balling or hyperbole, right? Is that the right word?
Well, it depends on what you're going to say here. Hyperbole means to exaggerate. Or to overstate.
Oh, no, that's not the right word.
Okay.
Yvonne, I screwed up. I was doing good, just went downhill.
Doing well. Doing well.
But I'm making an educated guess.
Okay.
That they went to these duplexes because they needed room for people.
Sure. Quentin has this comment for us. I think we all have to remember that the real estate market has changed in the midst of a lot of other broad socioeconomic changes. It makes it easy to forget what normal was like, much like predict what the new normal might be. Remember back in time when we were all watching and worried about the massive fires in Australia? Not really. Too many other things happened that pushed it out of our heads. The last 18 months have been one thing after another, and it's very hard for a general consumer to remember what was normal in real estate. I mean, damn, it's hard sometimes for those of us that have to live in it. What do you think?
So that's a duplex.
Okay, I see it.
It's a duplex.
Okay.
And you would not know that it was any different. Yeah, look, first and foremost, clearly Quentin is feeling better. So thank you, boss, for feeling better.
I'm happy for that, QB.
I'm happy for that. And, he always, his words always speak to me and speak to what he has to say. But you're 100% right. When I was doing the conversation about my fellow brothers and sisters, I purposely said something about the 241 Marines in 1983. You don't remember that. But we lost 241 Marines to terrorism, right? So we've been fighting this for a long time, at least my lifetime. Lost a dear friend of mine in April of the same year at the U.S. Embassy to a truck bomb from Hezbollah. So, I remember it because I was there. This was part of my life. But I don't know how many people on the feed actually remember this.
Dan says you see a lot of that in the Pittsburgh, PA area. What we're talking about.
Pittsburgh, yeah. So some of talking about these turn of the century duplexes that were built you see it in Brooklyn. It was common sense back in those days, and this video from Sightline was talking about how do you, why is inclusion, how did inclusionary zoning happen? And Neil will correct me if I'm wrong, but that really didn't happen until the 20s and the 30s. Then frankly, it was a racist thing, to be honest with you, on that end of it, to move some certain individuals out of certain neighborhoods. But prior to that, in the mid 1800s until that point, these were done so there could be a concentration of people into that. Now, here's the flip side. They didn't have the cars that we have now, right? So you were walking somewhere.
Not the public transportation we have now.
That is not true.
As robust?
I don't know about that, but I mean,
they had buses and trolleys. Trains.
Well, you used to be able, and we talked about this before, you used to be able to take a trolley from the university to downtown.
You can still do that.
Yeah, but I mean an actual tracked.
On a track.
Trolley.
Yeah, the trolleys.
You're talking about a bus that looks like a trolley, that calls it a trolley, but this was an actual train, a light rail. We had light rail back in the 1800s.
In Charlottesville.
In Charlottesville, yeah. If you Google it, you'll find out. Who's the gentleman, photographer?
I'm drawing a blank on him. We have his photo. We have his book right here.
Yeah.
Judah, could you do me a small favor, J-Dubs, and look at the waiting room table over here and the name of the...
that's not the green room.
The iconic... No, that's the green room's out
green
there.
room's out there.
The iconic photographer.
Yeah.
Where it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, God. It's same here. But if you flip through that book, I can assure you'll find a photo of a trolley. And it started with horse-drawn. Then it went to electrified. So it used to run right down West...
Yeah, Ed Roseberry.
There you go.
Thank you, J-Dubs.
Thank you.
Judah Whitcower's the man.
Is he? Outstanding. So, again, what's old is new. I don't think personally we'll see that in Charlottesville again, other than the one that you can drive for free, which a lot of people don't know about that, by the way. You can hop on a free trolley just like you used to do with the...
We took it all the time in college.
Really?
Yeah, when I was at UVA. First year, we would take it all the time to get to the downtown mall. Your colleague, Logan Wells Claylo.
Oh, hey, Logan, how are you?
She says there was a Sears Arts and Crafts home at 622 Ferris Street that sold in December 2020 for $1.4 million. Was added onto over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Well done, Logan.
Logan's a rock star.
Logan, I'm going to give you some props.
Logan's a rock star. Yeah, so but again, what's old is new. They were these kits. We have now modular homes, which you didn't have at that particular point, prefabricated homes. You have panelized homes, and they're, I suspect you're going to start seeing that trending up a little bit again. mainly because, let's take a look at why was Sears doing this. It was a lack of material, labor, and they saw a business thing. But it's pretty interesting just to think Sears was in the housing business.
Bellamy Brown watching the program.
Semper
Bellamy,
Fi, Marine.
we love you, Bellamy Brown.
Yep, very much so. Good man.
Love you, Bellamy Brown.
We're going to get on that bike together, I promise. He's been after me to ride bike together. I promise to do that. Bellamy, I just need a couple of months to get a little bit better, because you're a bit younger than me, so I got to get a little bit more in shape to keep up with you.
And Bellamy Brown, A++ people. This is for you, Bellamy Brown. Neil Williamson, I remember the 1983 attack vividly. We were still in the shadow of the 1979 Iranian hostage crisis.
I remember it. I joined the Marine Corps in right after that, right after Reagan became president.
Check out the Free Enterprise Forum, guys. Neil shares a link from 2008, a post, A Desire Named Streetcar, where he's talking about streetcars in Charlottesville. That could be something that Charlottesville can improve upon.
What's that?
I mean,
the mass transit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a numbers game.
You're saying we don't have the densely population for public transportation.
Correct, and you have to put it, in my opinion, this is for, what did we say? Sake of a talk show.
Yeah, for the sake of a talk show.
In my personal opinion, back when...
I mean, this is some of the boards you sit on. You guys handle this.
We talk about it, right? And we discuss it. So, but the reality of it is why was this light rail, able to happen back in the 1800s? And Neil probably can go through that article. I can't remember when it stopped. It probably was in somewhere after World War I, I would imagine, after that point, or somewhere between World War I and World War II. My suspicion is when it stopped in doing that. But we didn't have the car, right? Or if there was, it was not as readily available as it is today, and everything was either in walking distance or biking distance, or you had to hop on that. And the city jurisdictions made the decision to go ahead and do that. I would love Neil to figure out, in the heyday of the streetcar, what was the city population at that point? I would love to know what that is. What the city of Charlottesville's?
It's definitely less than now.
Maybe not.
You think it was more?
I can tell you. If you go to much smaller town, I can speak to Cape Charles. Back in the 18 and 1900s, the population was 2 or 3 times what it is now.
Interesting.
Right. Now it's transitory. That's right. Transitory.
Nice.
Look at that big words.
Good job.
Yvonne, did I do good?
Yes. Just very proud of you.
Transitory. On that end of it, right? If you go down there in November or December, there's like nobody there. You go down there in August, it's packed, right? So it's become more seasonal.
Yeah, it's a beach town.
But back in those days, it was a railroad town. People were working 7 days a week, 365 days a year, because it was the main corridor. It was the I-95. Just think of everything that's going up I-95. It was going down the Delmarva Peninsula back in that point.
Jackson watching the program. Jackson says this, Keith, you mentioned earlier in the program that folks put their homes on the market for sale more often when interest rates start to uptick. Can you explain that again?
Yeah, so I can't quote chapter and verse. It's just historically what happens. So as the interest rates go up, 2 things happen. The buyers tend to uptick their urgency, right? Because they want to capitalize on more affordability, and it seems that the market, and maybe the other realtors can give a better answer than I can on this end of it. The homes tend to go on the market. I think it's more emotional, right? It's more like things go up and come down. Some of it has to do with actual data. Some of it is just pure gut and emotion, right? So I think if interest rates go up a little bit, you'll see both trend up a little bit.
This is from Jennifer Navarez here. She says, do you expect the inventory levels to uptick in the back part of the year? Right now, it's slim pickings.
It's slim pickings. It was no pickings. Now it's slim pickings. So it's going to get a little better, right? But it's incremental, All right, that's another big word.
Dude, you're on fire today.
Big words, coffee.
The coffee's kicking in.
Big words. Yvonne's watching, so I got to impress
You better
her
be on your P's and Q's.
on that. So it'll be incremental, right? It's just, the flip side to that, if all of a sudden it went from here to here with homes on the market, that's not good either, right? A huge spike on that is not good either. So gradual up and down is always, I think, a good thing for the market. It's predictability. I think you're going to see it climbing a little bit. I know. You can start seeing the inventory picking up a little bit. I think you probably might see December, January, which is kind of normal, might be a little bit of a lull. But I was looking at our last. I have a 15-year running spreadsheet on business, on sales, and for us, typically we're actually busy in November and December.
Right.
I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why, but we're generally.
You got a hunch, don't you?
I don't know. I really don't know why. Because, if you read all the stats, that's when it's supposed to be slow. But for whatever reason, we tend to do very well in November and December, getting homes on listings and contracts. Now they're closing in 2022, on that end of it, or very end 2021. But we October, November, December, man, we tend to do a spike.
Rake it out. It's all about inventory.
It is.
Period.
It is. Yeah. That we've got to talk about it for an hour, but that's it right there. It's all about inventory.
It's all about inventory.
Inventory, period.
Joseph Gentile, ¿qué pasa,
Hey, I spoke to Joseph yesterday. I love the hell out of
Joseph Gentile.
Love the hell out of Pearl certification.
Joseph Gentile is.
We had a pizza conversation.
Stoking the flame right here. I love Joseph Gentile and his mischievous spirit from.
We were talking
from
pizza.
Brooklyn. Is it Queens? Brooklyn?
Well, no, Long Island.
Long Island.
So
Okay.
he's right on the Long Island Queens border.
Joseph Gentile says.
I won't give you the address out, Joe.
Yeah. He says, is Keith trying to say bubble?
Bubble?
Just kidding.
I am not.
Remember when he was on the show and we had the are we in a bubble discussion?
We had the bubble discussion. Well, I had
he believes we're approaching a bubble.
So that conversation that the three of us had, that's a conversation Joan and I have.
Okay.
That's what we talk about. It's weird that we talk about that. We talk about other things, but for the most part, we talk about business and real estate. It's who we are. It's what we do. It makes us who we are and what we do, and it's helping people. But I think Joe is just busting my chops a little bit on that end of it. I had a great conversation with him. We're trying to coordinate a schedule for Joe to come down and visit us again with Greg Slater.
We love Joseph Gentile.
And we're going to bring in
program.
Segura again, and we're going to talk a little bit about all the awesome work that they're doing with partnering between the Green and Segura and Pearl and all this stuff. So we're going to do that, and we'll talk pizza, which we did yesterday. We literally talked pizza yesterday.
Justine Montgomery, is it Vermont?
Yeah, Justine. Happy birthday, Justine.
Justine's watching in Vermont.
I believe it was yesterday, if I remember correctly, if I got it right.
She says,
Miss talking to you.
Frank Ix and Sons built their plant in Charlottesville because it was on the rail line.
That's exactly right. And
Frank Ix and Sons, was it a textile?
We're going to let Justine do it because she is related to an X.
Okay.
On that, but it was a textile. I can't remember the specific type, but it's 100% right. It was on a rail.
That's Ix Park, guys. That's where Three Notched is.
My office
Animal
is?
Connection is. The best real estate firm, Yes Realty Partners over there. Brazos Tacos.
Keep on going. Lampo. Right.
The bicycle place.
The bicycle.
The Blue Wheel.
And people wonder why my office is there.
Three Notch. Saki.
People wonder why my office is there.
Don't let them loose in Ix Park, Yona, with that credit card. Don't let them loose.
I'm only allowed to have a debit card, by the way. Smart lady. I'd walk out with a $5,000 bike in a heartbeat.
There is more of a healthy mix of sellers and buyers in the market now, depending on the price ranges.
So I just want to go back. Justine, thank you for everything you've ever done for us. And she'll know what I'm talking about. I miss our conversations, but happy birthday to you, and thank you for everything you've ever done for us.
The fabulous president of CAR, QB, says.
Who's that?
QB.
Who's that?
He says public transportation and the use of alternative transportation like e-bikes can help resolve hub density issues when you have
Yeah.
a small geographic footprint of jobs, employment, and a large geographic footprint for housing.
Yeah.
That's very much Central Virginia.
Yeah, so
The epicenter of employment, Charlottesville, and UVA, services or offers job opportunities to many of the 300,000 people living in Central Virginia that often are commuting 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes to the city or more. Or more, yeah.
Well, we were actually having that conversation with Quentin about, and you made me think about this, how the impact of EVs, electric vehicles, will have that with the reduction of cost, right? The reduction of purchasing and operating and so forth and so on. Is that going to impact this cost factor anyway? It's not gonna impact your how much time is going to take you to go back and forth and your livability or your walkability of it. But I think, and I look, it's about ready to come up. We're both the Albemarle County and Charlottesville are working on their missing middle. We'll just kind of stay away from the thing at a high level. But the bottom line is to go back to what Nicole Scrow said on our Twitter feed. In this case, more is better. It's less is not more. More is better. And if we can increase density, this is not that difficult from my perspective. Understanding what I just said, it has impacts across the board. But I had I'll leave the name out of it. I was requested by somebody from UVA to have a sit down and talk affordable housing because they wanted to understand it. Somehow or another, they thought I knew what I was talking about. And it was a free lunch. What the hell? And I got to talk, so what the hell?
You love to talk.
I love to talk.
You love to eat.
I love to eat. And I, very smart individual, all kinds of acronyms, 3-letter things after his last name. Really smart guy. And, he was trying to make this whole argument, and I appreciated it about more, schools, this, that, and the other thing.
Oh, he was making the, if we add density,
Yeah, correct.
Housing density,
Yeah,
we better make sure the infrastructure keeps pace with the housing density.
Well, he was taking the position we shouldn't do it because of that. And my question to him was, what happens if we don't do it? What happens if we don't do it? What if we don't do anything? We just leave everything alone, right? Well, it's going to look more like me and you and Judah, with all due respect to Judah. It's going to look like Judah, maybe a little bit like Liza. And we're not going to get the diversity. We're not going to, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of that, tonight, this is from Neil Williamson, Free Enterprise Forum. Tonight, and folks, we got the Seville Weekly and NBC 29 on the broadcast here. Neil Williamson, tonight, the Charlottesville Planning Commission will have a work session regarding their proposed future land use map. Hashtag virtual seats available. And then I responded to Neil with hashtag elections matter.
They do. Elections do matter.
Neil Williamson also says the difference in regards to the light rail in Charlottesville. So we were talking about light rail early in the show, and at one time there was a trolley on a track that ran from the UVA corner to the downtown mall. Neil offers some perspective on that. He says the difference was where people lived. The richer folks lived at the end of the streetcar line. The automobile provided the mechanism for the suburb.
Absolutely true. So if Yvonne is still watching...
she says it's 55 degrees and raining in Seattle right now.
Oh.
So imagine that.
I don't know. So before I get back to Yvonne, that's a little... We're going to let this secret out of the bag here. Every time I've ever been out to Portland or Seattle... It doesn't rain as often as one thinks it does. And I remember it was my first visit out there. It was a November 4 or 5 years ago to Portland, and I got off the plane and I noticed all this dead grass. And it was to visit my dear friend Robert Liberty with this national cohort I'm part of for affordable housing. And I said, "What the hell's going on here?" And he goes, "Shh, we want everybody to think it rains. Shh, don't tell nobody. But it doesn't rain as much as everybody thinks it does out there. There are some wonderful, wonderful days out there. So so Yvonne out in Seattle, it's just like in Brooklyn or in Queens or Astoria, whatever it is in New York. You want to get an apartment or you want to get a building that's walking distance to a train station or a light rail stop, right? And as these light rail stops out in Seattle in particular, or Brooklyn or wherever it is, start getting better or start going there, the property around us just starts going through the roof because of that very reason that Neil said. The people that could afford it lived closer to the rail to go back and forth. The car, I think, has changed all that, as Neil has said, but I don't see light rail in our future. We're just too small of a jurisdiction. But I think, as Quentin has said, the advent of e-bikes is going to be huge. But people are walking, right? I walk from my office to here.
Well, you want to get an e-bike, don't you, to drive? Okay, sorry. You haven't had
Yana's still watching?
Yeah, she's still watching.
That debate has not happened yet.
Okay. Justine offers some information. I love when you guys, viewers and listeners, make us better.
Justine, is it snowing yet?
Justine says, thank you, Keith.
Yeah.
And she says, Frank Ix and Sons textile manufacturing started as a silk mill.
There you go.
And then went to synthetic fabric. Many of the homes surrounding the Ix Park were built by Frank Ix and Sons in order to house their employees.
Correct. So she's speaking of Belmont, which is very similar to the Cape Charles conversation, right?
Yona says, oh boy.
Well, I mean, you got to get
Who wants an e-bike to get from
I want an no. Time
to
out.
I Love Seaville?
Time out.
Why you want
Time out.
Okay,
Time out.
Okay.
We're going to get a company bike.
Oh, so
Right.
it's a company expense.
We're going to get
your business partners are watching right now, including your wife
yes.
and your work wife.
Yes.
Quentin.
Yes. So, but if somebody has a meeting to go to, they can take the bike because it'll be set up in the office.
Oh,
And they
it's a
can-
communal
A
e-bike.
communal e-bike that I'll use a lot.
A communal e-bike that will be locked up when he's not using it.
No. I'll just take the battery out. That's all. Keep it with me.
Quentin, this is a good comment. I know you just had Robin Amato on
Yes.
to talk about the commercial market.
Yes.
What did you learn from Robin? What are the takeaways for local business owners, business trying to transition, owners of commercial space?
So I'm going to let you answer that question. And what did you learn from that conversation?
Oh, I thought she was fabulous. Robin Amato was on yesterday's Monday Market Monitor. She is a commercial broker of 40 plus years of experience. This is what I learned. I learned that the seller finance deals were not as prevalent in the commercial space as I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that commercial real estate in the city of Charlottesville is, let's cut to the chase, an incredible investment. I learned that this is something I really learned. There is CAR has a fantastic website, mycar.com,
There you go.
where you can find residential listings in very transparent and approachable fashion. It's easy to see what's on the market, thanks to the
And
fabulous
trends
folks
and
at CAR.
yeah.
Commercial real estate, there is no
Unified.
digital hub for commercial listings. That has made the commercial brokers incredibly important and valuable because they are the keeper of this information.
Correct.
Almost like when realtors back in the day had an MLS that was a book. That book was the keeper of the information.
Sure.
Now that information's on the internet and readily available for all. That does not exist in commercial. You have these piecemeal websites like LootNet,
Correct.
Craigslist,
Catalyst, which
Catalyst.
is CAR's website.
but there's no go-to source.
There's no single monolithic, another big word.
Yeah, look at you.
I studied last night. I stayed at a Holiday Inn. The
Holiday Inn Express.
Express, yeah.
Yeah.
So there is no monolithic thing. But why I knew that because I'm in that space, right? I do a fair amount of commercial on that end of it, not a lot, but I do a fair amount. So if Jerry's looking for a space, I'm going to reach out to my trusted advisors, Robin, so forth and so on, and say, look, this is what I'm looking for. You got anything, right? So that's usually how this is done. There's some in Car, there's some in Catalyst and all that stuff. You can look at LoopNet and all that kind of great stuff. On that end of it, it's all extremely expensive to be part of, by the way. But generally the way I do it is I'll reach out to my trusted advisors that I've done deals with before, Quentin, Robin, and do that. But here's my takeaway, and this might lead into a little announcement that you might want to make. One of the takeaways from the commercial end of it, most people that I speak to think commercial and equate commercial only with retail. But what the commercial broker does, or in the commercial space, is many different things. Robin focused on a certain kind of thing, but it's everything from retail, wholesale, land development,
light industrial, office, warehouse.
But they also work in selling businesses, not space, right? And this might be a good lead-in to talk a little bit about the Mangioni's.
Yeah, and a fabulous restaurant for sale now. We published this before the show started on the I Love CVille network. Quentin Beckham, the fabulous individual.
Okay, only one fabulous, not too fabulous.
He has the listing for Mangioni's on Main. Mangioni's on Main, for sale now. Elena and Bert Mangioni, A++ people, want to pass the reins onto another steward of this fabulous restaurant. It previously was Bella's restaurant. Doug Muir and Valeria opened Bella's. In fact, I Love CVille launched that brand in restaurant in Charlottesville. Yep, we launched Bella's. Elena Mangioni and Bert Mangioni bought it from Doug Muir and Valeria. It's a family-style restaurant. It's got from a Charlottesville standpoint, a relatively affordable monthly rent, very affordable.
And it has a really awesome following.
Yeah.
And first of all, Bert and Elena are dear friends, wonderful people.
A+ people.
A+ people. We sat here for 12 hours. You talked for 12 hours. I couldn't keep up with you. And they brought us like plates of lasagna. I mean, food that just was off the charts.
Elena Mangioni watching the program.
Yeah.
We love you, Elena.
And I think Bert may have brought a cocktail. I'm not really sure. But
he did. He brought
Manhattan.
Bert's Old Fashioned, wasn't it?
No, I believe they're Manhattan.
Manhattan?
They were Manhattans. But just a shout out to them both. And since we can talk about this, I shared this with Elena the other day. My mother and father and my wife and I go there all the time because we're half Italian and we're used to this big family style restaurant, and you can sit down there and you can order. And I give a shout out to them. One of the hardest things to make well is a simple spaghetti and meatballs. The spaghetti's got to be al dente, got to be just right. The meatballs, they got to be tender and juicy. And Joe's probably watching, going, yeah.
Joe's watching in Long Island.
Yeah, but
we got Long Island, Vermont, and Seattle on the show.
Long Island. You're saying it wrong.
Bert's Manhattan.
Bert's Manhattans. So, and we would share it, and we would just have this beautiful family dinner. It's the plate's big enough for 2 or 4, depending on how hungry you are on that end of it, and it's just really a beautiful time. I love taking my parents there, or they take us there, and we just have it. But that kind of family style takes care of you is just off the charts. I wish them all the best of luck in it. Whoever takes over that restaurant's going to knock it out of the park. They've set everything up to be successful for sure.
It's a restaurant that is woven into the fabric of Charlottesville and this community. Family style, and affordable from a monthly rent standpoint, especially for Charlottesville's restaurant scene. Right in the heart of Midtown. I mean, you get thousands, if not 10,000 plus cars driving by there every day. You got walking distance to UVA grounds, walking distance to downtown. I mean, really in the heart of everything.
I've never had a parking problem there.
Yeah.
Never did. And
Restaurateurs, aspiring restaurateurs,
that's the space for you.
here's a spot for you.
Without doubt.
That will be absolute dynamite.
And don't change the damn cannoli recipe, because that is off the charts. We won't.
Quentin says there's dedicated staff with the restaurant.
There you go. Don't tell Elena this, but they're probably the best cannolis I've ever had. It would offend my mother, but don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody.
I think your mom watches the show,
My
too.
mom does watch the show.
No
She
singers to Ma Dukes. No singers to Mom.
Yeah, well, it's okay. We do zingers. That's
Okay,
This is
okay.
what we do. I'll get a phone call. Really? Mine's that better? But yeah, so do yourself a favor. First and foremost, go there for dinner, right? Have yourself a martini, have yourself a Manhattan or a glass of wine or whatever it is, and I'm telling you, order the spaghetti and meatballs, and it'll rock your world.
The lasagna is fantastic.
Oh yeah, sure.
The
Everything.
bar is fantastic. I just wish everybody the best with this transaction, and I'm confident that it's going to move quickly.
Well, I'm so
Reach out to Quentin Beckham.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm happy for them, and then on the other hand, I'm a little disappointed because they just do a great job.
It's bittersweet, but at the same
Sure.
time, they're going to travel, enjoy
Oh
the
yeah.
world.
Oh yeah. I know a little bit about their travel plans, and
This
I'm
Paris?
good. There's France in there
Yeah,
somewhere.
right. I know. And
God love them. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, absolutely. My friend, we came in here and we decided it was going to be
subject.
Batman and Robin. We got 11:36.
Oh really? Oh geez.
Time
I'm sorry.
flowing by.
What do you got today?
We're talking finance with Alex Erpy
Oh, yeah.
on the I Love Seville show.
I got to reach out to him. I say this every
You
Tuesday.
do. I'm getting texts from that. Tell him to reach out.
Yeah, we're texting. We love him. It's just we're busy. Working 7 days a week.
That's good.
Doing
Busy
our
is
thing.
good. Yes Realty Partners, guys, is the name you can trust. If you watched the beginning of the show and you saw Keith honor the Marines that have passed in Afghanistan, you see what his integrity and what he is all about from an honesty, from a commitment, from a loyalty standpoint. Yes, Realty Partners. We also want to thank Interstate Pest Control, a home's best friend, Interstate Service Company, a home's best friend, for being a part of the show. When you've been in business for 50 plus years in a community of this size, you know you're doing something right, and the Interstate family undoubtedly is doing it right at Interstate Service
I
Company.
will tell you, I had literally had a 911 that needed to get taken care of. I reached out to them. God, it was like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. By 5 o'clock, they had it done in order for something to close. So
Thank you, Dan Pettit. He says, have a great day, guys.
thank
My
you,
friend.
everybody, for listening to me the first couple of minutes.
This is Real Talk on the I Love Seville Network, presented by Yes Realty Partners.
200 show next
will-
on Friday.
A week from Friday?
No,
This Friday?
This Friday.
This Friday is the 200th episode of Real Talk.
Can you believe that?
Are you wearing spandex?
No.
Okay.
Now, I'm not. Friday, maybe.
We will see you in roughly 45 minutes on the I Love Seville show. Take care, guys.
Thanks, man.